Prove your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Folks, the bad guys, they don't want to hear it because they already know it. They don't want us talking because the only thing we can do at some point is learn the truth. 99% of the world doesn't understand we're engaged in war. It's an information war. It's psychological war. It's a communications war, folks. It's a war for the minds of the people. Okay. It's absolutely incredible, folks, what is going on in our country. What is happening everywhere. It's nothing short of insane. Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Go to thepreparedmind.club. That's your store. Use it now. The Ottawa, Canada, truckers protest joined by farmers, cowboys, and regular old comedians. Canadians, regular people, folks. Remember, I guess we are comedy and satire, so I've got to always throw that out there. But get this, folks. The Ottawa police have begun to seize all fuel and propane tanks that have been brought to help the truckers, to help the people engaged in this protest. What the Ottawa police are doing, folks, is they're trying to cut off the supplies. Now, isn't this interesting how when leftists, extreme leftists, Antifa, BLM, and they're up in Canada, folks, when they create their autonomous zones, like the CHAZ, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle, did the government stop people from bringing them food? Did the city cut off their water and electricity? No, they didn't, did they? Now, do I think they should have? In that case, yes, because they declared themselves autonomous, that is, free of the government, independent of the government. The people in Ottawa aren't pretending to be free or autonomous. They're not violent. They're not assaulting anyone. They want their rights restored. That's what this protest is about. Well, the police there are taking action. How droll, how pedestrian, how predictable. They want to cut off the supply routes so the protesters have to go away. Unbelievable, folks, how they're handling this. Now, they're not going in heavy-fisted and beating people. Well, at least we have that, right? Well, the police are now threatening to arrest people who are trying to bring fuel into the convoy because the police have confiscated everything that they had stockpiled. So I guess it's illegal to give fuel, food to others, another person. It's illegal to do that now? Right. Let's see. In the protests that were run by these violent Antifa thugs and BLMers, they had medical people volunteering, some real doctors and nurses who were also communists there in all over the country as they commit great acts of violence and damage. Did the police go arrest the doctors, arrest the first aid responders? Did they arrest people for bringing water and other supplies? No, they didn't. They wouldn't even arrest the people committing felonies. But up in Ottawa, the police are now threatening to arrest anyone trying to give fuel or supplies. Right? Why don't police just arrest the truckers directly? Isn't, look at it this way. If there's a protest, in order to help the protest continue to be a protest, isn't giving fuel an expression of free speech? Isn't giving fuel to protesters showing their support of the movement in a way that's different? It is. They are protesting and showing the protest needs to go on. They're voicing themselves. It is free expression. And you're like, how can fuel be free expression? Because it is a necessary element to the act of protesting. Right? Do I like the fact that the streets are shut down in Ottawa? No. No. Do I like the fact that the people have had their rights criminally violated by the government. Now that is way out of line. See, folks, what people do is one thing, what government does is another. People on the street, even Antifa and BLM, they cannot suspend my rights. They cannot violate the Constitution. They can assault or commit a tort. They could damage persons and properties, but they don't have the authority of government. So when the authority of government is used to violate the rights of others, it is egregious. And that is exactly what Canada has done, the government of Canada. And now the police, in order to stop the protest, that is not over something simple. They're not upset over a fuel price. They're not upset because they can't get Burger King Whoppers for $1 a piece. They're not upset that they're being forced to drink American beer and not Molson, right? They're not upset over something like that. They're upset. They're pissed that the government has violated their rights absolutely and has gone over and beyond and above everyone's patience, everyone's tolerance, and everyone's rights. They have trampled on everything, folks. There's stepping around gingerly. There's applying pressure to, and then there's trampling. The government hasn't gone around their rights. The government's not just tampering with, they have trampled the rights of all the people, and they've responded. And now they want to punish people who want to help, right? And then there's this. Did we call this or what? We called it, folks. You and I. The Ottawa mayor declares, quote, a state of emergency because of the trucker convoy occupation. I guess it's okay to occupy Wall Street. I guess it's okay to create a Chaz. I guess it's okay to burn cities, burn, loot, murder. I guess that's just fine. I guess it's okay to violate people's rights and say you have no free speech and give special rights and privileges to fruitcakes and snowflakes. I guess that's just fine, folks. But get this, the Ottawa mayor is calling this a nationwide insurrection. There's the word, folks, an insurrection. That is precisely what Lenin, Vladimir Lenin, socialist, communist, Russian, who helped kick the whole thing off in Russia, created the Soviet Empire. They used protests to get their way, and then they called anyone who got in their way and tried protesting the Soviet government, they called it insurrection. They called it sabotage. You're sabotaging the country. Oh, really? Yes, folks, there it is. This is a nationwide insurrection. State of emergency is declared. Guess what? This is how they work. Once they convince the people that this is an insurrection, let's follow the thinking. Let's follow the logic. Let's go back to January 6th of 2021 in the United States of America. Americans were very pissed. There was a huge rally on January 6th, a rally for the president. There was a rally at Congress. There are rallies all over Washington, D.C., all different, segregated rallies, but all with one thing in common. They didn't like what they were seeing coming from government. Well, there was someone who was there on January 6th. Someone who is still in jail right now. Someone who is a combat veteran. And what he said was that January 6th resembled a war zone. Now, this is coming from a combat veteran. Combat veterans have a unique perspective on violence, death, and human behavior. Heed this perspective. Try and understand this perspective. He's a combat veteran. I'm not pretending to be when I'm talking about this guy, but think about what he has seen. Try and grasp the feeling of having someone shooting at you, wanting to kill you. Right? Understand that. He was in that crowd and it had that feeling. It resembled a war zone. The US government called protesters insurrectionists. That became their story. Now in Canada, the mayor has called this protest and insurrection. They're not trying to overthrow the government. I haven't heard that once. They're telling the government to do its job and observe the Constitution and their rights and respect them. It's not an insurrection. But you can see how the Marxist and fascist techniques for government takeover and absolute government control of the people is initiated, carried out, and accomplished. They have a goal, an agenda. They take steps. They create problems. They offer their solution. Ultimately, they want to do that everywhere they can, and then ultimately have 100% control of the country. In America, in Canada, in Australia, in New Zealand, we need to fight back. Not violently, nothing harmful or dangerous. We need to fight back. Not glamorizing or glorifying violence. We're not violating any terms of service, any community guidelines. Folks, this is very real. 99% of the population do not understand what you know because we've had these talks. It can get really stupid, really ugly, really quick in Ottawa. It can happen a lot of different places. It can happen a lot of different places. Right? All you have to do is be associated with someone that they have labeled wrong, evil, bad, domestic terrorist. And they can start investigating you. They can make your life hell. Well, that's how they scare you. That's government coercion, using pressure, fear of government power on individuals to knock us down. Right? I'm not going to go up to Washington, D.C. and knock on the door of a federal prison institution because they might just give me a room. Right? I don't need that. That's not how I can be most effective. I'm choosing to be effective with you here. Spread the word. Share this video. Share the internet address. Share it with others so they too can wake up. So they too can see what's going on. So they too can get prepared and in turn help others. But understand, folks, we are in a war for our lives, our freedom, our nations. I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for someone in Canada. I thought it might be Justin Trudeau himself, but it's the mayor of Ottawa that wants to call this an insurrection. But he goes further, folks. He calls it a nationwide insurrection. Well, yeah, why have it in just Ottawa when you can declare patriots, those who want freedom everywhere? If you can make them all the enemy of the government. Because that's what this is, folks. By saying this is a nationwide insurrection, this mayor and any other politician that joins in the chorus by calling it a nationwide insurrection now have the ability in this state of emergency to use government force, government power, government authority to claim that they are putting down the insurrection. And they can go after anyone that they deem a threat. That's how this works. That is how Hitler did it. That is how Stalin did it, folks. Where are we at? We're right back there in the same place. Will they get enough momentum to push this all the way through and declare a state of emergency everywhere, and that everywhere it's right-wing crazies that are the problem? Well, Germany, they've got their massive powerhouse of a bureaucracy and administration in charge, and they have their Antifa, their Hitler Youth ready to go again and again as needed. They're gearing up here in America, and you guys in Canada are going at it. We have to win this, folks. There's no silver medal for second place. There's no feeling good about losing. This is more than just our freedoms. It's our very lives at stake. Get prepared. Go to thepreparedmind.club. Get food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get your plan together because chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi, Godspeed.